What's up, my people? Welcome back to Vertical Football. Welcome back to another episode of the Manchester United Fans Corner. Guys, I'm your host, Shogun. Great to be here. Great to be back here. Guys, so last time out, we had a very good discussion, a discussion that has created a lot of arguments and conversations, which is necessary for us to have because we are all learning about the fans' reaction to Ruben Amorim and his system and his decision not to change his system. And then today, I feel it's just very, very important. I think it'd be nice also to talk about not just the fans' reaction that we did last time, but also talk about the board, the owner, the CEO, the sporting director. Did they actually understand what they were doing? Did they actually understand the gravity of the decision to bring in Ruben Amorim as the manager? So I think I think it's very, very important for us to look at that. Did they actually understand that? And what does that decision actually mean? So from the outside, I want to analyze it. So guys, let's jump right into it together. I think the first thing I want to say is, I believe that, and I know this is not a universal rule, but I believe that not only managers have philosophies. I believe that the best way, in my own opinion, to approach it, even though I know it's not a universal rule, is that I like when clubs also have a philosophy. I think that, and I feel it's one of the easiest way to approach going for a manager. In the sense of, when you look at the likes of Manchester City, especially under Pep Guardiola, look at the likes of Liverpool, especially after Jurgen Klopp came in, Arsenal, for a major part of their history, over like 25 years of their history, when you span the likes of Arsene Wenger and even Arteta, especially these three major teams, you will find out that these teams, you can today say this is the philosophy of these teams. This is how these teams want to play football. And I feel for Man United, and in the recruitment we've done in terms of coaches, we've just gone ahead to just keep signing coaches. But we sign coaches, but the club doesn't yet have an identity. We don't really know how we want to approach the game. Man United, first of all, did not have, since after Alex Ferguson, did not have an identity. We don't know what kind of football we want to play. I think that's very, very important to understand, because when you look at the likes of we going for David Moyes played a different kind of football from what Sir Alex Ferguson played. And when you look at interviews that the legends, like the likes of Rio Ferdinand, Patrice Evra talked about, instead of Ferguson was more so a proactive kind of football that we played under Sir Alex Ferguson. But under David Moyes played a pragmatic kind of football in Everton. And you see that mindset started the downfall, at least the visible downfall that we started having. In the sense of, we played a practice style and we brought in David Moyes, who was a pragmatic guy in Everton, playing pragmatic football. And after David Moyes, we did something amazing. We let David Moyes go. We went for Louis van Gaal. We went from pragmatic to possession based, right? We let Louis van Gaal go. The next person we went for was Jose Mourinho, pragmatic. At least I want to have, but Mourinho is mostly known for pragmatic. So pragmatic to possession to pragmatic. From Jose Mourinho, we went to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was more like kind of like what Ferguson approach in terms of wing play, fast transitions, that kind of football. Counter-attack football. That was what he was playing. From Ole, we went to Ten Hag. Ten Hag, as what was playing, was possession-based, right? And from Ten Hag now, we've gone to Ruben Amorim. So when you look at how the managers will be actually going, it's just like somebody that is blind moving in the wilderness. We don't actually know what exactly we want to play. We don't know. And that's why you see that it was easy for Liverpool, even though I know that there are a little bit of differences between and a slot and Klopp. But you see that for him, the differences are not that big. Their football is still around the kind of way. That's why it was easy for an slot. Liverpool fans would say this. It was easy for an slot to quickly adapt to the players available. But when you see that under the Glazers, we just go ahead to say, this manager looks good, let's just get him. And we see that we have an haphazard, zigzag approach to the game. But one of the things I felt when Ineos came on board, when the likes of Omar Berrada, Jason Wilcox came on board, and the kind of work that Jason Wilcox did as the sporting director in Southampton, because I followed that under the likes of Russell Martin, and I followed that, and I'm like, these people, they have the idea of the kind of football that a club should play. They know that you have to come to a central idea of what a football club should play. And I was happy that they were brought in as the backroom guys, in terms of leadership for Man United. Now, the first question I want to ask is, did they understand that going for Ruben Amorim signifies, first of all, that they will be going for a possession kind of football? Because when you watch Ruben Amorim under Sporting Lisbon, you find out that they could do many other things. They could do a lot of things, but majorly when you see them and the way they approach it, this was a possession, at least predominantly possession-based approach. That's what they use predominantly. They are versatile in every other area, but predominantly they were a possession-based team, right? But a possession-based team that was using a 3-4-3 system. So did our board actually understand that going for Ruben Amorim signifies that this is the journey we want to go at Manchester United? Not just to approach a predominantly possession and controlling style of play, but you are also going to be changing not just the style of play to streamline the style of play, but you are also now going to be changing the fundamental foundation of United. Because if you are being honest ourselves, on paper now, this is the first Manchester United manager we've had that plays a 3 at the back. Right? Now, so it was going to be a massive shift. And I think when Ruben Amorim came on board, I as someone, I quickly saw and said, I understand that not just only is United having a new manager as like before, there is something fundamental that's going to change about the way Manchester United approaches the game, our identity. In terms of this club, under Sir Alex Ferguson was known for high-flying wingers. And I think in our previous episode I mentioned it, when I mentioned that, but now, under this Ruben Amorim system, we are now rebranding. It's a part of a rebranding process where it's now about inside forwards, not high-flying wingers. And that's why I said that if you check, even before Garnacho had the issue, before the final, I did an episode where I said that Garnacho has to learn to be an inside forward or he will be left out of the squad. Because fundamentally, we are not just, the decision to go for Ruben Amorim did not just mean to just get a coach. It signifies a plan, the way we are looking from outside, to change the identity of Manchester United as a club, to ensure that this is what we play. Possession based, and we are playing a 3-4-3 system. A system that is not now based on high-flying wingers, but is based on wing backs. That's the first one. It is about creating a new wave. And I think Liverpool, based on reports, they were said to have approached Ruben Amorim based on what I had. And when he told them, I'm not going to change this formation, even I'm going to stick with, they knew that they had success playing 4 at the back under Jurgen Klopp. And they also knew the repercussions of ditching a Champions League winning philosophy, a Premier League winning philosophy, going for a 3 at the back system, or a system that is not based on high-flying wingers anymore, but on wing backs. And they said, we are okay with what has brought us success with Jurgen Klopp. And they stepped back. This is what reports had. But United, and I believe from the guys, I want to I look at it, and that's what I'm seeing, that they decided we don't have a philosophy, we don't have an idea in this club. Let's go for this guy. And I feel that's why, for me, it's not just about sacking a manager. Yes, I understand that the results clearly have not been good. We cannot deceive ourselves. It has not been good. But the fact is, I believe if this works, this experiment with Ruben Amorim, if it works, it's not just only an attempt to have a winning team. It's an attempt to redefine the identity of Manchester United. Really. Because this is a system that we've brought in to change our identity. That is next point. Now, and I feel having made the decision to want to get Ruben Amorim in, I want to ask another question. Are the board also aware of the pressure that will come with not winning with this system? Because it's a transition period. I will not see. Nobody's happy that United loses matches. Nobody's happy that we lose matches. But when I look at the things they were trying to do, and I might be wrong, but I see it as not just a manager, but an attempt to redefine the identity of this club. And I've seen it from the first day. Because I understand this is a new ownership. These are people that understand the ball. And looking at the work that Jason Wilcox did at Southampton, it's an attempt to redefine Manchester United as a whole, to make us a team that is streamlined under this particular idea of playing football, under this particular system. So, are they truly aware of the pressure? And if they are truly aware of the pressure, are they ready to stick to the plan even when all hell is breaking loose? Are they ready to stick to the plan? And that's why, for me, I knew pressure will come, because I have seen it that this 3-4-3, yes, in as much as I've explained many times that there's on the paper formation, but the major thing is that we shifted from high-flying wingers under Sir Alex Ferguson to wing-backs. That's a major shift. It's not just about the formation. It's a major shift that our widths are now being created by wing-backs and not high-flying wingers. I think that's a major shift. Now, does the board and the CEO, the sporting director, and the owner, did they really understand the gravity of the decision? And are they willing to stick to it even when all hell is breaking loose? That's a very, very important question to ask, because it would be a shame. And I know, yes, the result will determine if Ruben Amorim continues to be the Manchester United manager. But the fact is, and that's why I'm so happy that we did not qualify for Champions League. I said in one of our videos, we need time to train. We need time to train. We need time to get these boys to understand this system as soon as possible, because we are in a result-based industry. And not just a result-based industry. This is Manchester United. And patience is not in the dictionary of an average legend fan. Even the media is not going to give you that patience. But are those people willing to go to that baptism of fire to stick to this pattern, or to stick with this manager to implement this? Or are we going to break under pressure and swift again and go for someone that will just give us, quick fix and get us there? Maybe after 1 or 2 years, everything collapses again, and then we sack again. And there are clubs that do that. Chelsea does that. At least Chelsea under Abramovich does that. And that did not mean they were not successful. Is that how we want to approach it? That could be a discussion to have. Is that the best way? Let's just keep sacking managers. And we've had situations where Mourinho won trophies for us. We've had situations where Ten Hag won trophies for us. Maybe we should just keep sacking and keep accumulating trophies that way. That can be a strategy. And it's even in a situation, in a time where we are getting a manager in to to implement a philosophy, but the club itself doesn't have the financial power to make the process faster, like the way Chelsea is doing under Enzo Maresca with actual big money spendings. Because I feel that's another way to escape it in the sense of we are going to this transitioning, but we can also speed up the process by getting 8 players, 9 players, in high volume, get the profiles in quickly. But we are doing this transitioning at a very steady pace. So the question again is, to the board, to the owners, really, are they willing to stick when the fire which is already coming, are they willing to believe on this process? Because I feel it's going to say a lot about our direction as a club in the next 10 years, what we do after this, really. And I'm not saying we should let Ruben Amorim stay, I'm not saying that. I'm just giving you even though I have my own opinions, I'm just giving you the fact. I believe this moment is really, really a fundamental moment for Man United. How do we progress this? Now, the last thing I want to say is, because we keep learning, I have done an analysis on managers that use 3-4-3, even though I know that Ruben Amorim's own is a little bit different. It's not just, as I said earlier, it's not just 3-4-3 on paper. The profiles of the player also determine how you approach. For example, when you look at Conte's 3-4-3, had Alonso as the wing back, had Victor Moses, right, as the right wing back. But you can see under Amorim's 3-4-3, that's one of the major differences is that the right wing back under Amorim's system must always be a right winger. And there's a reason for that. So we'll explain that when the time comes. There's a reason for that. And that's why when you see the likes of Giovanni Quenda play that side, you see even is wanting to deploy, or already deploying Hamad in that position. There's a reason for that. It's not just something, it's based on the profile of the system, which we will definitely come to that point where we analyze it. There's a reason for that. But when you look at the structure of this 3-4-3, you will see that the midfielders, and when you look at Conte's midfield, the midfield that won Conte the Premier League was a midfield of Matic and Kante. And Kante, because when you look at Fabregas, was put on the bench and was dropped on the bench because as a result of that system, at least early on. And you see that Kante was brought into that team as an hard worker, high intensity runner, an athletic player, which we know Kante was a marvel playing in that kind of formation, and they won the league with it. He hard worker. When you look at another manager that plays 3-4-3, that's Oliver Glasner, right, for Crystal Palace, you see the work rate of Hughes. Crazy work rate. We don't have that in Manchester United. And I think I'm beginning to understand two things. First of all, why Ruben Amorim wanted Carlos Baleba in terms of the two midfielders on the system, those people that have been in 3-4-3 system, is the fact that there is always one deep line midfielder, right, that does the interceptions and screens, right? And then there is one energetic, ball tackling, all-rounder, everywhere midfielder like Kante, like even the work intensity of likes of Hughes under Oliver Glasner, that just do a lot of running around and is there everywhere, doing everything, making everything work. In fact, and I understand the reason why we do not have that in Manchester United, and that's the reason why he wanted Carlos Baleba. At that point, he wanted Carlos Baleba. Now, I now understand much more, because we are all learning why Bruno Fernandes is, even because of the everywhere of Bruno Fernandes and the energetic nature of Bruno Fernandes, why Bruno Fernandes is being used as a stopgap in that role. Yes, Bruno Fernandes has deficiencies. Bruno Fernandes might not necessarily be a ball winner, a this thing, but you cannot deny the fact that there's a work rate there. You cannot deny the fact that there's that intensity there. So we are learning the game, and we have to bring it to you so that we can have that conversation, so that we can really understand what this manager is trying to do. And and also debate it. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? That is why we are having this conversation. That's why we do this podcast, to create quality conversations around the game. And also, when you know, that's my last point now. When you know, and that's another question to the board, when you know that this system primarily needs a heavyweight running person. And I know that Bruno Fernandes can be a stopgap, but it's not necessarily that kind of profile. But I know the intensity is there for Bruno Fernandes. Why then the Wilcox? Because it's something that's been baffling me since after the transfer window closed. Why then did Jason Wilcox feel that the striker was much more important than the midfielder? Because I think we all know we need a striker. We also need a midfielder. If you want to ask me, which one do we need more? I really feel, because I feel football games are won in the center of the park. And I feel that system begs. And if you look at Conte's system, Conte in that system, you can't be assured that system will work. Conte, if you remove Conte from that system, you can't be assured because of the kind of influence Conte brings to that team. Look at Tuchel, right? Champions League, right? Look at Conte was the man of the match, even in the Champions League final. I'm not mistaken, if I remember clearly. There's something Conte does that improves the squad. I know, yes, Baleba was 100 million. Oh, I feel this club and the system was in dire need of that profile. Dire need of that profile. Because the only person that can do it closely is Bruno Fernandes. And I can do it, at least try in that squad, is Bruno Fernandes. But Bruno Fernandes also is nowhere near the ideal profile you need in that way. But you just know the intensity is just there. And that's why I keep analyzing that Mason Mount in that, as in one of the two number 10s, helps, because you need intensity. You need runners. Yes, there's one at the back screening, but you need that high intensity running that helps that midfield. And I know, yes, I've always said also you need to have tempo. You need to also you need someone very, very important also that can screen the back four. I said that's very, very important for us. Someone that can make us tick and control the tempo of the game, because it's two ways to go about it. If you don't have that high intensity runner that does all those things, and that way to go about it is maybe you just even control the tempo and play the game at your tempo. But I feel it's not just even about buying one midfielder now. It's also even about buying two midfielders, a deep line midfielder for United, and that kind of Kante-like player, high intensity, energetic beast running around. And we didn't get that. But we got a striker. We're not angry about that. But it shows that it's a long journey. But one of the things I'm happy about is the fact that at least we have time to train. And I hope that other positions can just get ready. And maybe when we get that center, and when those are getting ready, we keep winning games. And then when we get that center, everything might work. Because as a United fan, I believe people just say, and I believe majorly it's not the system. For me, I believe there are many other issues we are facing. Mentally, I've explained that mental is a problem, but I also look at it and say, we need certain profiles, and we're not going to certain profiles. And the profiles is also about the spine. I mentioned it that our spine is not yet complete. And I think we need a new spine. And that spine is not yet complete. Because in a goalkeeper, we have defenders already from the likes of Yoro and Delete. We got in two number 10s in Kwan and Mbeumo. We got in a striker in Sesko. We got in a goalkeeper in Lamens. But we need a spine. So guys, these are my opinions on this from the board perspective, in terms of, do they actually know what we are going? Do they understand the process? Do you understand the picture of how this will work? And do they know, are they willing to make the right decisions? And are they willing to withstand the pressure? Because this season for me, if we finish it, I'm okay. Because I keep trying to understand what we need to do. But to just say, let us sack the manager, I feel, yes, I'm not the one going to make that decision. If the results don't improve, I know definitely this is United, you sack the manager then. I understand that. But before it comes to that, can I support the manager and see how I can analyze the game to ensure that everything goes well, even without the transfer window before it gets that spine? So these are my opinions on it. So guys, as usual, I know you have your own opinions. Please just share with me your opinions on the comment section. Let's analyze the game together. Let's understand this game together. And thank you for your support. I really see your messages and your support. It's really nice serving you guys. Really, it's really nice serving you guys. So guys, don't forget to like this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. And most importantly, don't forget to share it. Remain my humble self. Until you see you next time. Bye.